All right. What's up, everybody? This is episode 79 of Hoops Talk with Dave's Joint. Shout outs to everybody that's been supporting us thus far. For those who haven't seen any of these episodes, go check it out on YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV. But without further ado, I have a very special guest on here tonight. He's a bowler from Poughkeepsie, New York. Played for the Team Scan Cardinals, who are now the PSA Cardinals. Played high school ball at the legendary Archbishop Stepinac High School in White Plains, New York. Played junior college basketball at both SUNY Delhi and Sullivan Community College. And now he's on a new journey to playing pro basketball. Tonight, I give you Mr. Naim Thomas. Naim, thank you for coming on to share your testimony.
No, thank you. I appreciate you for having me tonight, man.
But first things first, bro. So my first question is, what motivates you to be successful in the game of basketball?
Honestly, what keeps me motivated is the people behind me. I always had a good support system. Everybody behind me has been always rock with me since day one. And my work ethic, that's just what it was embedded in me since day one. This is what we're doing. We're going to be all out in it, no matter what. Trials and tribulations is going to happen. That's neither here nor there. But regardless, you got to keep working. So, I mean, the motivation part that's already there. That's instilled in me.
Facts. So, when did basketball first begin for you?
Around the age of 5, honestly. There's a couple of street ball tournaments, kiddie tournaments, bitty tournaments up here, upstate Poughkeepsie. I started touching that basketball around then. I honestly wasn't the best basketball player. I wasn't too good. I was a little nervous, a little shy every time I stepped on the court, but I broke out of that. But I wasn't the basketball player I am today when I first touched that basketball.
So talk about growing up in Poughkeepsie, New York, and what's the basketball culture like out there?
Out here, Poughkeepsie. Well, first of all, Poughkeepsie, shout out to my hometown, man. There's a lot going on up here. You hear upstate New York, you think, okay, it might be cows, a lot of corn stalks, things like that. You know that. Most city people, most people from around, you hear upstate New York, you're thinking beautiful fields, beautiful trees. But in reality, Poughkeepsie is the trenches. So you get it how you get it out here. This is the mud. Poughkeepsie High School athletically, we great, but then we lose focus a lot on other things. So really, Poughkeepsie is Poughkeepsie. You feel me? Poughkeepsie is Poughkeepsie. It's not a place you want to just stay, but it's also a beautiful place. It is what you make it. In terms of, go back to Poughkeepsie education-wise. Education could be a little better, which is why I went to Stepinac, but we'll get to that. And that's about it. I mean, Poughkeepsie is Poughkeepsie. Shout out to my boys.
So, growing up, what were some tournaments that you liked playing in?
Definitely Millbank, Nike Swiss. Well, that's going to NY if we talking about New York. Like I said,
anywhere.
We only had anywhere. We talking anywhere?
Yeah.
Definitely Nike Swiss, Millbank, one of the best ones. Team Scan, we was taking that. Obviously Dykeman. Dykeman was fun. It's always fun to play in Dykeman. What else? Up here, upstate, we got Unity B-Ball League, Summer League out here. I guess that's what you've probably seen on my page. Other than that, I mean, I'm a baller, so wherever I go, I'm trying to turn it into my home. So they all fun to me.
That's what's up, man. So when did Team Scan come into the picture?
Team Scan came into the picture, actually, I want to say 6th grade, because I was playing on an AAU team up here called Hudson Valley Heat. From Hudson Valley Heat, I kind of outgrew that. So my dad threw me in the waters. I had a couple connections, Jerron Love, Diamante Czar, but I had a couple people that I knew around the way. So we went to go play for Metro. When I left Hudson Valley Heat, I went to Metro Hawks. Metro Hawks, one of my first tournaments was Boo Williams. I stood out. I did what I had to do as a youngin'. And then I linked up with Shavar. Shavar was on Riverside at the time. We went over to Team Scan, went over to Munch. You know, Team Scan wasn't Team Scan when we first started. We was getting it how we got it. We was doing what we had to do. But, yeah, we linked up. Few other players because we're actually an after school program, so we really started from the bottom up. So that kind of molded us into who we are a little bit.
Yeah, man, that's a good story. So how was it going from an after school program to an elite program?
It really happened before our eyes, to be honest. Like, we were putting in work in regardless. When you start from the bottom, the only way is up. You can't go no further down. We was wearing Starburst shorts and Converse sneakers, D-Wade. They don't know about that, you know? Shout out Munch, man. He made it happen. They don't know about that part, though.
Shout outs to Munch and the whole PSA crew. For those that don't know, PSA, their original beginnings was out of the Mullally Recreation Center on 164th Street in the Bronx. And now, you know, they before they became PSA, they were Team Scan. So everybody, for those that don't remember, that's the origins of that program. And Naeem was a part of the first graduating class of that program in 2014.
Yes, sir.
Talk about, you know, that group that you graduated with, and how does it feel to see that something that you helped create, you know, become something so big in the grassroots scene today?
I mean, that team was legendary. That, like, me, Shavar, Chris McCullough, Terry Lariat, Conrad Chambers, Kevin Seymour, Nico, Addie, Joel, Khaled. We could go on for days on whether everybody went to go play collegiate ball, whether it was JUCO, Division I, whatever it was. Everybody went to go play. People turned into mentors beyond basketball off of that team. So that team right there was, we became men on that team. We became men on that team. So, like, in terms of the Chris's and the Terrys and the people that, you know, made it to the spot where we all trying to go, it was more like a family thing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was more or less a family. It all happened before our eyes in terms of we were number one in the country, maybe, 15s and 16s? 15s and 16s, I think we stayed number one in the country. So all of the time before that, it was work.
Right.
It was work. We wasn't, I mean, yeah, we see the rankings because it's cool. We young, we see it. But we not number one. We still want to play. We trying to get to there. We trying to get there. And then when we got there, you hear in the schools, you see in the people, you getting the write-ups. So now we're really hungry. We that team from New York that everybody want to see.
Yeah, man. So after middle school, there comes high school. What made you decide to go to Stepinac?
So 7th, 8th grade, I was playing JV basketball for Poughkeepsie. So I played in a 8th grade tournament in Stepinac. I played with a local team. I think it was Lincoln Hall to be exact, and just to go out there and see if I get recruited, just to see what's going on. They heard about me, but they wanted to see a little more. So I went out there and I played really well for the whole weekend. And they pretty much just offered me a little scholarship right there. And from there it went on. There was no reason to go back to Poughkeepsie. I did what I had to do.
Like Poughkeepsie, you know, I just seen their basketball team the other night when they were playing at Gaucho's Round Ball. Like, they're pretty decent. They're pretty good. Did they ever have a chance at landing you? Like, did their coaches ever hit you up and be like, saying what I was saying just now was, do you think that Poughkeepsie High School, your local high school, had a chance at landing you?
Yes, because like I said, athletically, we are who we are. We're great. They get the job done. They was always playing Mount Vernon championship. The exposure was not so much there, but if you do what you have to do, you can make it happen for yourself. So yeah, they had a chance of landing me. I was there. I was playing JV basketball in middle school, so I was there. I was in the system, ready to go rock out for the varsity team as a ninth grader, but
All right, so yeah, you were saying?
yeah. What was the question? Say it again.
So you were saying there that Poughkeepsie, they had their chance of getting you, but you chose the other alternative route, Stepinac.
Yeah, because Stepinac was gonna put me in a better position. That's what it comes down to. Stepinac was gonna put me in a better position. Coming from Poughkeepsie, New York, going to Catholic school, going to CHSAA, playing against my peers, playing against the same people I'm on teams with. We going Cardinal Hayes, we going Christ the King, we going St. Ray's. These are the people that I'm friends with, so I know I'm gonna excel. I already know what's going on here. I'm not stepping into something with my eyes wide open. I know what's going on here.
Right.
So being in that position, getting that opportunity, I would have been a fool not to take it.
Facts. So moving forward, like, what was the commute like from Poughkeepsie to White Plains every day? How did you get to school? Was it like a train situation, or a family member drove you?
You can hear me?
Yeah. So I was saying,
Yeah.
how was it making it to school every day? Like, did a family member drive you, or did you have to take the train to the bus?
All right, so the commute, that's a whole different story. The commute was about an hour, 15 minutes to get from Poughkeepsie to White Plains, no traffic. And that's taking it to Conic, straight up, no traffic. We talking 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning. But freshman, sophomore year, my pops, he worked down the way, so it was kind of convenient for him. He could drive me, drop me off on the way to work, da, 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 da. But when it became, and then let's talk about, you talking about the commute there, but we also got to get back home. Mm-hmm. So now we taking buses, we taking 2 buses to a train, and then an hour-long train ride just to get home. And I got practice. So let's talk about, I'm finishing practice at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Right.
So when going back to when we talked about motivation and dedication and things like that, that's where it comes from. I've been here before. You feel what I'm saying? Like, certain stuff, it is what it is. You gotta put your right foot forward to get to it.
Yeah, man. So did you start playing freshman, or did you go straight up to varsity?
As soon as I stepped in Stepinac varsity from the summer. We played varsity ball. And to be honest, I was the first player to do that at Stepinac from a freshman. Some players started off freshman, then moved to JV, then moved to varsity, but I was the first player to start off as a freshman on varsity. And I even started a few games, but yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's big, right?
And I believe the year before that, they just come off of winning the CHSAA championship.
Yeah, I think they played against Mount St. Michael. Then we moved up to the AA.
This was after your freshman year, right?
This was before my freshman year when we won the chip. They won the chip. I feel like that was Tony Taylor and them. Tony Taylor, Conroy. They won the chip. Then the next year, moved us to AA. It's us, Hayes, Rays.
Yeah, 2012. So you were a sophomore then?
No, I was a freshman. That year, I was a freshman. I graduated in 2014. We won it in 2010.
So you was an 8th grader then?
Yeah, when they won it, I wasn't on that team.
Right, so you were an 8th grader.
Yeah.
So they moved up. All right, so because I remember, if I'm not, 2011 was when Rice closed. After that, that's when Hayes, Mount, and Stepinac all moved up.
AA, yes.
So all right. Talk about your sophomore year. Like, how was it?
Sophomore year was well. It was me, Josh, and that was a solid backcourt. Me and Josh, we were young. I was a sophomore. He was a junior. Shout out to Josh James. That's my boy. Shout out to Mama's basketball. Me and Josh, we were young. We played well off of each other. But like I said, we were young. Our feet were still getting in the water. I was a freshman the year before playing. So, yeah, my time was limited. I was really just getting my feet wet. But then as a sophomore, I started he let go of the rope a little bit. Coach Tim let go of the rope. He started letting me and Josh play. So trial and error happens. Some days you do good, some days you do bad. But overall, we played well. My sophomore year was I might have averaged 10 points maybe. I want to say 10.2 if I'm not mistaken. But I had a solid sophomore year.
So then, junior year, talk about that.
Junior year, it was time for me to really engage in a point guard role. I'm not growing no more. The schools that are interested in me at this moment from Team Scan from my previous AAU season, I'm not going there to be a 5'10", 5'11", 30-point scorer. I'm going there to run the team. So now it's time to start molding myself into that. So Stepinac my junior year, Josh's senior year. Josh, I was able to become that point guard because Josh took over that scoring role. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now that I got the ball in my hands a lot, I'm making the plays. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable in what's going on. So my game kind of transitioned that year. I transitioned into a point guard. Before I was a smaller combo guard. Yeah, I get a bucket. But if we talking moving to the next level, it's time to show that you can handle the team.
Mm-hmm. And then, your senior year. Talk about that last year with the Crusaders.
Senior year, we actually had a coaching change. We had my head coach, Coach Tim, left. And then we got in Coach Steve Herman. Coach Herman was okay. He gave me the ball and told me to go. He didn't have too much structure, so our team, it was more I had to handle the load. Yeah, I would go out there and get 30, but at the same time, our record is 500. Wow. So, yeah, so it was okay. So, but Coach Tim kind of leaving us, that kind of left us a little.
Do you think if Philp was still around, things would have been better your senior year?
I mean, from the outside looking in, you would say yeah. You would say yes. But you never know. You can't really say that because you don't know what would have been held in the future. But I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, he had to go handle his family.
So outside of the basketball, what was it like being at Stepinac?
It was different, very different. Like I said, coming from Poughkeepsie, Stepinac was different. We're wearing uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
School's a little smaller. We're going to an all-boys school. In Poughkeepsie, we're not used to it. We're going to regular school. We're going to school.
Co-ed, right.
Yeah, that is what it is. But, yeah, it was a, not to say a culture shock because I've been around, but it was very different. I'm getting taught religion, and I'm, like, not Catholic, so it's like,
mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot going on here, but we made it do what it do.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the Stepinac Jungle, the school's cheering section. What was it like? Were they as live as they are now?
All right, so listen, my freshman year, I heard about the jungle. Obviously, I heard about the jungle. I know what goes on in the jungle. It's turned up. But my freshman year, I got into it with the jungle because against Cardinal Hayes on MSG Varsity, big game, I hit a half-court shot at the end of the first quarter, and nobody really knows me, like, from Stepinac. Like, I'm just a freshman on varsity. They heard, but now they want to see. So I actually hit a half-court shot, and the jungle went crazy. So that's the first time I was really introduced to the jungle, and they definitely show a lot of love with fat heads. songs, noises, jokes. They here for their school. And the school spirit is honestly something that wins games sometimes. So.
Mm-hmm. So, shouts to the Stepinac graduating class of 2014.
Yeah, shout out to my guys.
So, how was your recruitment around your senior year, as far as your collegiate recruitment?
Collegiately, I had a lot of D2 schools. I had some low major D1s. Wait, you can hear me? You good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, my fault. I got a call, but I had a couple D2s, couple D1s, low major, the Sienas, the Delphis, a lot of Mac, St. Francis, some in the MEAC, Norfolk State. Who else we had? We had a few people, but qualifying. Let's get into that. If we're really gonna talk about, we're gonna talk about the school. Let's talk real. Qualifying was my problem, and not to say not knowing enough, but me being me, I said I could take the JUCO route instead of just sitting down and doing what I had to do, which is a lesson that I'm trying to get across to a lot of these players that are playing now. You got to handle your schoolwork. Schoolwork is number one. You have to. You could be as good as you want in basketball. Yeah, sometimes it works out, but you don't want to bank on that. You got to handle what you handle in school, and your destiny's in your hands. You mess up in school, you're making that road a lot harder, and a lot of people aren't ready to ride that out.
Yeah, man, like that. Academic pressure is hard on a lot of kids. Some just can't handle. They can't handle that classwork. Which
that classwork is serious. It's a tag on you. It's on your back. That's not going nowhere. That classwork.
Exactly. Like right now, I work at an alternative high school in Brooklyn, so it's like we have a lot of kids that fell back, academically. Some are, some are older than the average high school kid, but they have like the least amount of credits, unfortunately, because, a lot of things happen in life, and a lot of schools like Poughkeepsie, or schools in New York City that have, a large amount of students, it's very easy for them to slip. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these kids, they're not getting that academic help that they need. So it's very easy for them to slip through the cracks.
Yeah.
But, with you went to a really good academic school. Like what were some of your struggles academically?
Just the change. I feel like me being focused in terms of the change kind of messed me up. It was just different. It wasn't what I'm used to. It wasn't the same thing. So now I'm into different things. I'm seeing different things and kind of lost focus. Not to say I wasn't a good student, but for the schools that I need to get into, this 80 average isn't going to do it. This 82 average isn't going to do it. And that's just what it is.
Right.
Unless you plan on getting the 2,200 on your SAT, I mean, you might want to step it up, and that's what it was. Yeah. Not to say I was the bad student, not at all.
You had good grades,
yeah,
but it wasn't to what you really needed.
Yeah, so that's where I landed. I landed in the middle. Yeah. And then it was time to get it after that.
And you ended up at a very unfamiliar place to a lot of people, SUNY Delhi.
SUNY Delhi, JUCO. What landed me at SUNY Delhi was the visit, honestly, the coach. And once again, when I got to SUNY Delhi, my coach left. Head coach.
Shona, shout out to Shona, man.
Shout out to Coach Shona. I still talk to him to this day. That's my guy. Yeah. But yeah, he left. So now I'm in the same situation I was just in my senior year, kind of. Mm-hmm. Now both my coaches leave. Puts me in a different position than I thought I was getting into. Mm-hmm. And now, so then that led me to, I played well that season. I had a pretty good year that year. Right. As a freshman, I think I was third team all region. I was second in the country in assists. Like I said, I had to turn into that point guard, so it worked. I shout out to Coach Reyes. He was my head coach. after a couple games, he threw me in the starting lineup. I started for the rest of the season because that's where I should have been from the jump. But, yeah, I mean, Delhi was Delhi. Then from Delhi, left, second year. Now I'm a second-year JUCO player. Sullivan was interested in me even during high school, so they reached back out to me after the Delhi season. Went to Delhi. Was the first team All-American JUCO. The rest was history.
Yeah. Shout out to SUNY Delhi. We all had some good days on that campus, man. I actually went back there like around February with the kids at my job. Like, bro, it's been 6 years since I left that place, and it still looks the same, still the same old small town, but, still the same beautiful campus. Some of the same people still there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Like, so many things went down in that town. So many things.
Yeah, Delhi, that city is dry, but that campus.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
The campus basically was the city, pretty much, if you really look at it.
You look down at Delhi, you see nothing but lights from the campus. You don't even see street lights.
Yeah, man. But and plus, it's like, let's say if you from New York City, if you don't get on that 5 o'clock bus, you stuck there till 6 a.m. the next morning.
Easily.
The only way you could leave, let's say if there was a bus towards Oneonta, that's the only way. That's the only way you getting out of there at like 9:10. That's
so
the only way you getting out.
From the city, what was that, 3.5?
Yeah, about that. So normally I probably would have gotten back home till like maybe 8 o'clock.
That's a long bus ride. That's a long day in the office.
Yeah, man. I just wish I had an iPhone. Well, actually, technically speaking, I did have an iPhone. I just didn't have the right service back then. But it's still. I wish I didn't. I wish I had a laptop though. That would have been good for me.
Yeah, you would have been good on that.
All them long ass bus rides, man. I would have been able to watch movies, listen to music, blah, 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 blah. But nah, man, I really miss Delhi, man. Those are some great times we had over there.
Yeah, man. Coming out of Delhi that's where I got my girlfriend at. That's where my kid came from, pretty much, if we're talking, because I got the same girlfriend from Delhi. So
wow.
Yeah, so Delhi gave me a great life. My Delhi stories are pretty good. I'm not mad at Delhi at all.
Shout outs to the little one, man.
Yeah, shout out to little Ami, man. I wish she was up. I would have showed you her. I would have brought her to the screen.
So how many months is the little one?
She's 6. Her birthday March 14th.
All right. What's her name?
Yeah. Ami.
Shout out to little Naim Thomas.
Yeah, man. Ami Thomas. Ami Ray. Middle name Ray. I love her.
So
she's everything.
That's what's up, man. So talk about Sully.
Sully was dry. You thought Delhi
just like Delhi. I actually been on that campus once. So that same day that I went to Delhi, we went to Sullivan after. And it's like literally like at least Delhi had places where you could walk around. Sullivan has nothing. Oh. But yeah, like I was saying, at least Delhi had places you could go to at least eat. Sullivan had nothing.
Yeah, Sully had nothing. Sully was just Sully. We was in Western New York. Oh, Mama's is up now. Okay. We was in Western New York. Sullivan was just 3 buildings, 4 buildings maybe on campus, including the gym. Really small, 1 dorm building. I actually stayed in the townhouses though, but 1 dorm. Really nothing going on, not even 500 students, I feel like, on campus. It was just a little commuter school. Get your degree and go. Basketball-wise, though, we brought that pain. Top team in the country. It's right.
So, that's top team in the country.
That season went well.
So, how far did you guys go that year?
That year, we were number 4 in the country. I think our record was 26-3 going into 24-3 going into the playoffs. And that last game of the season, we played in Lackawanna, and I actually partially tore my MCL on my right knee in that game. Let's keep in mind, I'm a first-team All-American. I'm having a great year, so we plan on winning the championship. So that kind of blew that. So we ended up losing first round of the playoffs. Didn't even make it to nationals, but we were a top team in the country, so it kind of like went backwards. Just bad timing, but it is what it is.
Yeah, man. Some people, they have the worst luck possible.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
when you went down with that injury, like how did you feel? Like, damn, like I did everything I could to get to this point, and now something like this sets me back. Like I know you was heartbroken.
Heartbroken, isn't it? Won a championship. That would have been everything. That would have gave me what I needed. That would have boosted me up a little bit more. Not to say, I mean, I was a first-team All-American, but winning is everything. Like I said, you got to win. Putting the ball in the hole and all that is cool, but you got to have a W next to that column.
Yeah, man. So Coach Wilson was there when you were there?
Yeah, Coach Wilson, Coach Brent. Shout out to Coach Brent. That's my guy, Sullivan Generals. Coach JC. Yeah, we had our staff wasn't huge, but they did what they had to do to put us in position.
Yeah, 24-6 was that record.
Yeah.
You know, that's big right there, man.
That was a good record too.
Mm-hmm. This year he went 28-2 before COVID hit.
He was going crazy.
Yeah, man. So he's been 169 wins and 44 losses. So that's not bad.
That's looking good, but
yeah.
That's all. Once we get across that hump, we'll be all right again.
Yeah, man. So where did you go as far as school-wise after Sullivan?
After Sully, I was committed to Livingstone College, D2 in North Carolina, Southbury, North Carolina.
HBCU.
I was verbally committed there. Supposed to handle a couple of summer classes to qualify once again. Got put back in the same situation I was before, where I wasn't handling what I needed to handle. So athletically, yeah, I was there. That was never the question though. As a basketball player, yeah, but it was the extra after that. Like I tell everybody now, it's the classwork. You got to do what you got to do. You got to make sure everything's intact. Because you can score as many times as you want, but if you ain't putting the books there where they need to be, then it's all for no reason. So, yeah, I was verbally committed there. Went there for a nice visit. Went out there. That didn't work out. Then I committed to NAIA D1, Florida National University. So now I'm out there for a little bit. Worked out with them for the summer. I just felt like the vibe wasn't there. The team, it wouldn't have benefited me much. I think I was just looking for I felt like I needed school. I needed to be in school at the moment. I was desperate to be in school. So that was really me just jumping at an opportunity, not really looking at what was best for me. So once I realized what was going on, I kind of had to make a decision. And then from there, it was time to turn pro. I had a baby on the way. People in my ear telling me what's going on behind the scenes. And from what I was hearing, it was time to make that jump.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about the pro life. Like where have you played professional basketball at?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, yeah. So right now I just to go Uruguay. Shine. Spoke to a few agents, spoke to a few people in terms of that. Not really gonna get into too much of that, but I got a couple TBL tryouts on the way. I got a couple UBA tryouts on the way. So a lot of money is calling. It's just on me now to finish it out.
And then I think recently you had a tryout recently. You had a combine workout.
Yeah, that was for a team in China. That went well. Like I said, that went well. There was a lot of people on my team that were also, you know how a combine goes, so everybody's looking for something. But I showed out. I showed everybody what they needed to see.
Mm-hmm. No, that's big right there, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everything's looking up. 2020 been a year of success, honestly, for me, in terms of my daughter, in terms of basketball, in terms of my family. I can't complain right now.
Yeah, man. So, like, have you signed to any agencies as of yet? Or are you
Not
in the process?
Yet.
Okay.
Quick, because we're new to this. So now, really just going through the motions, trying to get the right information and making sure I make the right choice for my future.
Right. I hear that, man. Like, that's big right there. You gotta definitely have to, like, look at the pros and cons of every situation, but also the person that's gonna handle your affairs the right way.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't just jump on the first ship that sails.
Facts, man.
Yeah.
So this is one of the questions that I love to ask before we get into the final question. If you could go back to 2014, what would you tell Naeem at 17 or 18 as he's going through his senior year at Stepinac?
I would tell him to slow down, relax. You got a lot of time left. Relax. Handle what needs to be handled right now. Everything else gonna come.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah, that's real talk. That's what I would have told myself. Now that I'm looking back now, I didn't made the mistakes. I didn't learn from different things. Slow down.
Indeed, man. Final question. What's next in the future for Naim Thomas?
Let's make it across the waters. Straight across the waters. I got a family to feed. We going. The skill level talks for itself. We're going. The work ethic. We here. It's time now. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, though. It's time. We're here, man.
Naim, thank you for coming on to share your testimony, bro. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck on your basketball journey.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me, man. We'll be in touch soon.
My God. Well, everybody, this is episode 79 of Hoops Talk with Dave's Joint. Shout outs to my guy, Naim Thomas, for coming on to talk to us tonight. Go check, for those from Poughkeepsie, Stepinac, PSA Cardinals, Sullivan, Delhi, wherever. Go check them out on YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV. Definitely check out this episode. Leave them comments. We talk. So everybody stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.
Yes, sir.